Title: The Bermuda Triangle. Nature's perfect storm, not a supernatural trap. If you've ever heard the phrase Bermuda Triangle, you've probably pictured a patch of ocean with an attitude, a place that eats ships for breakfast and spits out compasses for fun. The kind of story that makes you stare at a map and whisper, "Nope." But step back for a second, because the Atlantic Ocean doesn't need magic to be dangerous. It has weather, physics, geography, and a lot of human optimism, often stacked together in the worst possible order. The triangle is usually described as an area between Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. It's not an official zone marked by buoys. It's not a legal boundary. It's a name we gave to a region that's busy, stormy, and unpredictable. Then we sprinkled it with mystery, because mystery sells better than bad timing plus rough seas. So what happens when we look at this place through a natural lens? First, we have to admit something. This region is heavily traveled. It has been for centuries. You've got major shipping routes, private boats, cruise traffic, and flight paths crossing that part of the Atlantic all the time. If something can go wrong somewhere, it's more likely to go wrong where there are a lot of people moving through. Now add the second ingredient, fast-changing weather. This part of the Atlantic is a meeting ground. Warm tropical air, cooler air masses, shifting fronts, and strong seasonal systems all mingle here. Storms don't always give you a polite warning. Conditions can change quickly, and on the ocean, quickly means the difference between a manageable trip and a nightmare. And then comes the third ingredient, water that doesn't behave like a calm swimming pool. The ocean is never still. It's a moving machine powered by wind, temperature differences, and Earth's rotation. In the Bermuda Triangle region, one of the biggest players is the Gulf Stream, a powerful warm current that flows from the Gulf of Mexico up the U.S. East Coast and across the Atlantic. A strong current sounds like a neat, fun fact, until you realize it can push a drifting boat far away from its last known position. It can also amplify waves and create rough, chaotic seas when wind and current fight each other. In other words, even when you think you're just waiting it out, the ocean may be moving you like a suitcase on a conveyor belt. So the question isn't, why is this place cursed? A better question is, why do so many risk factors overlap here at the same time? Because when busy routes, volatile weather, and strong currents meet human error, you don't need the supernatural. Nature is already plenty dramatic.
Let's talk about the sky, because a lot of the Bermuda Triangle's legend is really a legend of weather. This region sits near the hurricane highway. Tropical storms and hurricanes can form in the Atlantic and move in ways that are not always simple or predictable, especially before modern forecasting. Even today, storms can intensify fast. A small system can become a serious problem in a short time, and the ocean gives you fewer places to hide than land does. But hurricanes aren't the only issue. Thunderstorms can build quickly over warm water. Squall lines, fast-moving rows of storms, can slam into an area with sudden wind, heavy rain, and sharp changes in visibility. If you're flying, that matters. If you're boating, it matters even more. On the sea, visibility is survival. Rain can turn the horizon into a blank wall. Clouds can hide stars and make night navigation harder. Strong winds can kick up waves that make the boat hard to control. And once you're stressed, tired, and wet, your decision-making starts to wobble. Now add another factor people don't picture when they imagine mystery, the sea floor. The ocean under the triangle is not a flat table. It includes deep trenches and dramatic variations in depth. Deep water changes how waves behave. It also affects how quickly wrecks can disappear from view. If something goes down in deep water, it's not just lost. It's lost in a place that's hard to search, expensive to search, and dangerous to search. That matters for stories. When you don't find wreckage, your brain wants a dramatic explanation. It wants a villain. It wants a portal. But deep water doesn't leave neat clues. It hides them. There's also the simple fact that the ocean is incredibly good at destroying evidence. Salt water corrodes, waves break things apart, currents spread debris, and time erases details. That's not paranormal, that's physics with patience. So how do tragedies happen in a place like this? Sometimes it's a chain reaction. A storm forces a route change. The route change increases fuel use. The increased fuel use tightens the margin for error. The pilot or captain feels pressure to push forward. Visibility drops. Navigation becomes harder. Communication gets noisy. Fatigue sets in. A small mistake becomes a big one. People love to imagine a single mysterious cause. Real accidents are usually a pile of normal causes, stacked so tightly they look supernatural from far away. And in the Bermuda Triangle, nature has a habit of stacking risk factors like it's trying to win a prize.
Now we have to address the compass goes crazy storyline, because it's one of the most famous pieces of Bermuda Triangle lore. Earth's magnetic field isn't perfectly aligned with geographic north. A compass points to magnetic north, not the North Pole you see on a globe. The difference between true north and magnetic north is called magnetic declination, and it changes depending on where you are on Earth, and it changes over time. So if you don't correct for declination, a compass can guide you slightly off course. Slightly off course doesn't sound terrifying, but over long distances, slightly can become, why is the coastline not where it's supposed to be? Also, compasses can be affected by local conditions, electrical systems, metal on the vessel, instrument errors, poor calibration, and plain old damage. In stressful situations, people may also misread instruments, especially if visibility is poor or the vehicle is moving violently. In other words, the compass isn't haunted. It's just a tool in an environment that punishes mistakes. And mistakes happen more often than we like to admit. Navigation, especially before GPS, depended heavily on calculations, landmarks, stars, radio signals, and careful record keeping. Lose visibility and you lose reference points. Lose communication and you lose help. Lose time to storms and your estimates drift. Then you're not just a little off, you're uncertain. Uncertainty is dangerous in air and at sea. Here's another unglamorous truth. The Bermuda Triangle is a victim of storytelling. Many claims about unusual disappearances ignore context. They don't compare the number of incidents to how much traffic passes through. They don't always confirm details from original reports. Sometimes they merge separate events. Sometimes they exaggerate. Sometimes they repeat myths until the myth feels like data. That doesn't mean nothing bad has ever happened there. It means the bad things that happened are more understandable when you remove the fog machine. We also shouldn't forget maintenance and mechanical failure. Boats and planes are systems with weak points. Salt air corrodes equipment, engines fail, electrical systems short. A minor mechanical issue can become fatal if it happens far from help, in rough conditions, at night with limited visibility. If you want a natural explanation that feels mysterious, try this. Nature doesn't care that you're scared. It doesn't negotiate. It doesn't pause because you're confused. It doesn't wait for you to figure it out. If you make a wrong call at the wrong moment, it simply continues, and you pay the price. That's not a curse. That's reality. And reality can be more ruthless than any legend.
So what is the Bermuda Triangle really? It's a busy patch of the Atlantic where nature's ingredients can combine into something dangerous: shifting weather, strong currents, deep water, and the limits of human navigation, especially in older eras when technology was weaker and rescue was slower. It's also a place where missing evidence becomes a story. If a ship vanishes and you don't recover wreckage, your mind wants an explanation with sharp edges, a monster, a portal, a conspiracy. But the ocean doesn't leave tidy endings, it leaves silence, and that silence is exactly what legends are made of. When you zoom out, the triangle isn't a supernatural hotspot. It's a reminder that humans are small in a big system. We cross oceans because we're bold, curious, and sometimes stubborn. We fly over water because we trust our machines. Most of the time it works, but when conditions line up against you, weather, current, visibility, distance, and fatigue, the margin for error becomes thin enough to cut through experience and confidence. That's the natural perspective. Not magic, not aliens, not a doorway in the sea. Just a place where nature and probability meet, and where storytelling fills in the gaps that water refuses to explain. Question for the comments: which explanation feels most convincing to you? Fast-changing weather, powerful currents, navigation errors, or the way deep water hides evidence? If you enjoyed this natural science take on the Bermuda Triangle, please like, share, and subscribe to Wiseuse for more.